Hello, everyone. Welcome you all to this on-demand webinar about Zeliot's Solution Accelerator Program, which is powered by our flagship data management platform, data streaming platform called as Condense. I'm Akshay Dixit, and in this session, I'm going to walk you guys through how companies have successfully leveraged our Solution Accelerator to build their specific business or custom solutions using Condense as the backend data streaming platform, and how Zeliot also extends support to such companies every step from initial consultation to final deployment on these custom solutions. So let's deep dive into this. So here is the thing: developing a real-time operational solution is absolutely not easy, especially in industries like automotive and mobility, where data flows in high volume, and the need is to process such data in real time without much latency or minimal latency, right? But here is what Zeliot has been able to achieve through Condense. We typically refer to this as a proper breakthrough for the sector. So the Zeliot's Solution Accelerator Program simplifies this whole journey by just not providing a bunch of, say, pre-built tools which are thrown at the customer's way, but it's a comprehensive program that is designed to get you right from your concept into execution, of course, quickly and effectively as well. So let's break this down further. Uh, so the foundation for our program is, of course, Condense, which is a fully managed Kafka-native a real-time streaming platform that connects, processes, and analyzes the data at scale. What we have built or what we have made it to be is more flexible and adaptable for industries such as automotive, logistics, mobility, transportation, mobility, all of this, right? But while Condense is powerful, we know that building and deploying the right solution requires more than just the right tools. It obviously requires guidance, expertise, insight, technology, tools, technical know how, which again comes with resource expertise. And this is exactly an amalgamation offered through our Solution Accelerator program, which is powered by Condense again. What this really means, that is what we'll have to deep dive into now. It effectively means that you don't have to build everything from scratch. We provide, along with Condense, a set of modular customizable building blocks. So these modules are designed for speed, scalability, and integration. So you can plug them into your existing systems and get up and running within no time. Whether it's a feature such as, say, geofence monitoring or alerting systems, or even the simplest features such as vehicle tracking, or a complex situation or a complex system like a predictive maintenance to effectively arrest your vehicle failure of the future. All of these modules fit together to create end-to-end solutions. As an extension, we don't just hand you the platform and expect you to figure it out. We are with you every step of the way, from initial consultation to customized development, which is driven by the KPIs that your business has to achieve. Our team is there to guide you through this entire life cycle and help you choose the right building block, integrate them into your operations, and make sure everything runs smoothly. That's the level of handshake that we provide through this Solution Accelerator program. So the next step, let's just talk about how this actually works, right? So our program isn't just about giving you the tools, which I already mentioned a minute before. It's about making sure those tools work together to meet your specific needs. We work closely again with your teams, analyzing your goals, operational challenges, all of this, and then effectively build a solution that fits your business KPIs, right? So let's take one of our recent success stories. We were working with a fleet management company, helping them integrate Condense to track vehicle telemetry in real time. And the major requirement was there to trigger alerts for any kind of a maintenance concern, right? So using our modules and the in-house expertise or consultation that we provided, this logistics or the fleet management company was able to, or rather could not move from having disconnected or delayed systems, and they were able to move to a unified real-time solution, and all in less than 6 weeks. So this is what the Solution Accelerator program did to them. So this is basically accelerating your go-to market, and also not allowing you to compromise on the KPIs that you have to achieve. That's what is the intention of this program, right? And what's even better, this program is designed so that once the solution is built, you're just not left on your own to take care of things. There is a support and maintenance. All of this is extended, obviously. We do continue to work with you through the deployment journey, post the deployment, and helping you with finer optimizations, fine tuning, and also obviously an AMC or a support, so that your solution evolves as the business changes, or will it'll have to adapt to your newer KPIs that you design, right? So what does it plays, or what does it mean for you? If you've been thinking about building a custom solution for your fleet or mobility system, and you are skeptical about where to start, or if you have been struggling with slow, outdated systems, it is definitely this is definitely your chance to take an action and move forward. So by engaging with us on this Solution Accelerator program, you're just not getting access to the best technology, the tools, or the stack. You also get into a proven methodology for turning real-time data into actionable insights. Uh, Before we get into a couple of solutions which we have developed and are powered by Condense, I would like to wrap up by saying, if you're ready to accelerate your development cycle, deploy production grade, real-time solutions, and move faster than your competitors, Condense and our flagship Solution Accelerator program can make that happen. Right. So once again, thank you for your time, and I look forward to helping you take the next step and transforming your business with Condense. Now, on to a few solutions that we have built custom for our customers. So when I say this, it is all about say using Condense as the backend data platform, using the same data set that is coming in from the sensors or the devices which are installed on these vehicles. How the same data set can be interpreted in different ways to serve these specific business KPIs. That's what I'll be effectively showcasing now. Let me bring up my screen, guys. Right. Yeah. So before we get into the solution accelerator, I quickly want to, I'll take 30 seconds to run you guys through what Condense and what the backend data platform looks like, right? Let me just log in into Condense, right? So this is where we actually integrate the data that is coming in from the vehicles, create those pipelines. Pipelines is nothing but the flow or the data flow in which the data is expected to uh, get interchanged between systems before it reaches to the downstream application. So if you see here, I had just opened a pipeline. So for the sake of understanding, I've opened the fleet management system. We have a pipeline that is created here. So if you think of it, there are effectively three main boxes. One is the first box is where all of your data gets collected. And the second box is your middleware or your cloud technology, where all of this data is managed, stored, processed, rules are written, and all of that happens to convert the data into information. And once that is converted, which is called the transformation layer, we further push it down to applications which are developed as per the custom solution or the custom business needs, right? So this is effectively the pipeline that I was mentioning about. So if you see here, this first box that you see here is nothing but the input connector we refer to. So input connectors are those sources which are emitting the data. So assume that it's a basic GPS or a basic tracking device that is installed on the vehicle, and it is sending out the data. This is where it happens. And then it obviously has to connect within the system to a topic. And this topic is called as the parsed data here, where all of this data is collected. And once that Parsing is nothing but understanding the data, understanding whether the data sent is valid, invalid. In case it is junk, it will be dropped outside. So all of these things happen in the backend. So let's not deep dive into that. So once you have that information process, you obviously convert them into your business KPIs, right? So it could be alerting systems such as overspeeding, or if you just want an alert of ignition on off, or it could be, say, driver behavior related alerts such as harsh acceleration, harsh cornering, and all of these, and some sensor based alerts like your gyroscope or your even accelerometer, which give you towing, fall, and others, right? So all of these are captured. But obviously, you would further need a dashboard or a solution where all of this is being interpreted or being represented. So that is where the downstream applications or the solution accelerator that we were initially referring to comes into action, right? So let's go to one such typical solution. So after all the data gets processed on your on the backend platform, which is Condense, the downstream application or the user application would look something like this. So this, what you see, is a typical example of a fleet management system. So in this demo login, if you see, there are some 30 plus assets which are say onboarded, and you currently see some 21 devices which are sending data in real time. So all of this obviously in the backend is being processed and powered by Condense again. So let me just quickly run through the set of features here. So if you see here, there is a dashboard which gives you visibility into the assets, what is happening with your asset at this point in time. Then there are multiple reports which help you understand your fleet behavior. Say you want a report which is consolidated for a period of time, you want a day-wise report, you want a vehicle-wise report, or if you want a KPI-based report such as ignition report or halt report, overspeed report, all of these are there. Uh, and of course, some extended features or say accessory based or sensor based integration such as your mobilize, immobilize, where you can remotely turn off your vehicle. Then also, if you are into trip management, then you have your entire trip module which comes under geo services, right? And then again some information related to your vehicles, what devices there, how do you create user based on attributes and different roles within the system and all of that. So this is an example of a typical fleet management solution. Now, using the same data set which is fitted on this vehicle, how we could interpret in a different manner. So that is something that I would love to showcase. So this is another customer of ours who we are serving in the EV space, right? So when I say EV, these are again a niche set of vehicles. These are your slow-moving vehicles, which are typically used within a shop floor for material movement or for passenger transport within a huge, say, manufacturing plant, right? So these are the kind of vehicles that I'm talking about. So here, the main KPI or the main expectation of the customer was not to have visibility of the asset because the movement of the asset is within a controlled environment. So for the location was of least importance. What matters to them is the parameters that this particular electric vehicle is emitting. Because these typically move anywhere between 18 to 20 yards because the production unit runs round the clock, right? So these vehicles move anywhere between 18 to 20 hours, and they have to know what is the state of charge of the battery, at what time they have to charge the vehicle so that they have minimal downtime, and also the behavior of multiple other components within the vehicle. So what we typically do is for such integrations, again on the same data set which is powered by Condense, we build a custom dashboard. So if you see here, there are some parameters which I'm giving visibility into. So at every packet that is hitting the system, when I say packet, it is a frequency at which the data is hitting our server. So in this case, it is say every 10 seconds, right? So at every 10 seconds, all of these parameters that you see here are getting some valid values, and it keeps on changing as and when the real-time data hits, right? And apart from that, you obviously get some other parameters related to your regular geolocation. But of course, it is not very important since the vehicles are moving in a controlled environment. And again, you have a dashboard where you can plot, say, some graphical representations to compare. So say one such use case would be to plot your usage of the battery or the state of charge versus time. and you can compare it with both time and odometer, for example. So you can always have a comparison between your claimed range and the real time range, right? So this could be one. And again, if you're getting parameters such as your ambient temperature and coolant temperature, what is the temperature of your battery with respect to your expected temperature? So you can also set certain alerting mechanisms and set an upper threshold and a lower threshold. And you can have those alerts pop up in real time so that your people sitting in your central control room can take actions at that point in time and not delay until there is a failure that occurs, right? So such one such alerting dashboard is this, where I have an access to say configuring these alerts, and I'll just take a quick example. Uh, Say I'll take schedule maintenance, for example, right? So I'll go to a vehicle which is currently not configured with the schedule maintenance alert. So for this particular vehicle, I can set an alert saying if this vehicle runs for say 10 hours or say 2 days or for a distance of say 100 kilometers, whichever occurs earlier. And do you want this to be a one-off alert or do you want this to be a recurring alert? So this is the level of attention to detail also, which is driven through the Solution Accelerator program. And if I keep it recurring, I put an email ID, say I give my email ID, my phone number, and I just check this. It comes under enabled vehicles now. This particular vehicle is enabled to raise an alert whenever the running hours is more than 10 or it crosses more than 2 days or distance of 100 kilometers, whichever occurs earlier. And I get an alert immediately in my inbox and also as an SMS on my phone number. So that is one thing. And apart from that, obviously, there would be a central say a control room or a dashboard where your service team or your operations team would be continuously monitoring, right? There are also push notifications enabled on those dashboards in case the alerts which are configured to an email and SMS are must, right? So this is one more solution that I wanted to talk about. So one and the next solution that I want to talk about is a very interesting one. It belongs to a different domain altogether. So of course, again, the type of sensor or the type of IoT that is predicted is very similar to what we were looking at in the previous two cases. But here, the way you interpret the data again, right? So this is a deployment that we have done in a mining scenario. So if you think about mining, usually the operations that happen in a mine site are mechanical in nature. Uh, there are a couple of challenges. One is, of course, there are a lot of the people who work in the mining site are not tech savvy. And also, the second one is these mine sites are usually in a very remote location. So, which does not give you enablement of, say, network basically, right? So, due to those network challenges, having a connected ecosystem there becomes very tough. So what we did, we went a step ahead for this particular customer, and we also tried, or not tried. We in fact were successful in having conversations with a network provider for this particular region, where they accepted to install boosters as well to give connectivity to these IoTs. So that keeping that as a prerequisite, this solution is about digitizing an entire mine site. So we call this use case as a connected mine site operation, right? So what this does, so it is about giving visibility into all of those assets which are actually moving within a mine site. When I say mine site, it could be a radius of anywhere between 20 kilometers up to 200 kilometers. So there are n number of assets that are moving within the mine site. When I say assets, it could be your trucks which are say moving the materials from point A to point B. So point A to point B are typically your say the excavation point and the dumping point, and actual excavators which are digging the earth to say get the materials or the ore out, right? So that is what is the primary job of the excavator. So the use case that we were able to successfully drive here is, one is obviously giving visibility on the usage or the utilization of these assets. So that is how many hours are these assets running, and there are multiple shifts within the mine site, and within that shift, what is the typical time for which these assets were used, and all of these. The most important part is the KPI that we were expected to drive out of this was increase in the productivity of the mine site. So increase in productivity is nothing but either you lift more material or you increase the number of trips within the stipulated time. So the expectation here was to give visibility into what stage the asset was in, right? So if you consider different stages in a mine site, there is a loading queue. So this loading queue is all about where these excavators are actually excavating the material. And 2 DP means there is a dumping point where these trucks move from the excavation point to the dumping point. And you also get visibility into which truck is at what excavator and which is moving towards the loading point and all of that. So here, what we did is we enabled the driver cabin we enabled the driver cabin with a phone to which is of course loaded with a mobile application, which gives him visibility or which gives him a recommendation from to which excavator he has to go to. So this is basically reducing his idle time at an excavator because there might be previously reached trucks which are waiting in the queue and he just has to wait in the queue for a longer period of time, and he cannot take a decision at a very fast pace because these excavator points itself are around 2 to 5 kilometers away. So it will obviously take time for him to reach the next excavator. So rather he would keep waiting in the queue at the current excavator itself. So instead of these operational inefficiencies, what we did is based on the real time location of these excavators and the trucks that we were getting, we were able to push recommendations, which is an patented algorithm, I would say, or rather an IP algorithm. We were able to give these recommendations to the drivers to which excavator he has to go to. So this basically reduced their idle time and also their turnaround time for the trip. So in terms of metrics, if I have to convert, this enhanced or gave 1.2 trips more than what they were actually doing through a manual operation. So this was the KPI, and this translates into I don't know what say thousands or lakhs of savings because uh, if you guys are aware, the assets which run in a typical mine site, the mileage of these vehicles is less than a kilometer per liter. So when you're wasting a lot of time in say idling or at queue, there is a lot of fuel consumption unnecessarily, which is impacting the overall productivity. So this is something that we were able to arrest. Again, to remind you guys, this is the same data set which is coming in from the devices which are fitted on the vehicle, but the way it is interpreted to meet the business KPIs. So moving on, there is one more solution that I want to highlight. So this is again a commercial vehicle fleet that we are talking about. This is also a fleet management solution, but again here the most important part was not into getting visibility of the location of the vehicle, but it was more into diagnostics. So when I say diagnostics, it is all about collecting the component data. All your we call them as ECUs, which are say the engine control units, which are talking to a CAN network of the vehicle. And the devices that we bring into our partner ecosystem are CAN enabled, which can talk to the CAN bus of the vehicle, collect all of this diagnostic data and push to the cloud in real time. And how do you interpret that data to give such a beautiful representation as what the Solution Accelerator program is about? So if you see here, the KPIs are not about location, about your trips, or about your productivity, about your halt, about your road speed. If you see here, it is all about what component is behaving how. So you get visibility into what is the current fuel level. You're getting visibility into average fuel economy. If you see here, the alerts are related to your typical fleet management. There are some AdBlue data that we are getting. Then we have the alerting mechanisms at what time, which vehicle, what location, what type of alert. So even if you see here, there is a list of alerts which you can configure. And if you see, there is a consolidation on today's performance of your entire fleet. If I just expand the alerts, you'll get to know which alert, what is the count, which are the vehicles which are raising those alerts, and all of those, right? So this is one more a way of utilizing the Solution Accelerator program. The last one that I want to touch upon is again a unique solution where this is again powered by Condense. the building block that we were mentioning about, there is a base fleet management solution which was already existing, and how you can improvise considering that as the base itself. So this, from a translation point of view, enhance the go-to-market for this particular customer by almost 8 months. So they have acknowledged this as well officially. So if you see here, this is more of a logistics solution that we are trying to showcase and what we have built here. So the KPIs here, though, that were addressed were mainly related to your trips that are happening between point A and point B, and what is happening between that trip. So for a vehicle, you get to know the route details. That is your start location to end location, the start time to end time. What is the distance? For how much time it was idling? For how much time it was halting? Which are the locations where a refuel happened? Which are the locations where it was halting, whether it was just a dhaba for refreshment or it was for any other say malpractice? Because typically in a long haul journey, we hear about a lot of fuel theft cases. So you can create say geofences or authorized stoppages uh, for the vehicle in the along the route, and whenever there is an unauthorized stoppage along the route, you get an immediate alert. So you can configure, if at all the vehicle stops in a non-geofence area for more than 2 minutes, give me an alert. So this is what a typical example could be. So you can immediately connect to the driver. Your central monitoring team can connect to the driver and understand what is happening. And this can also be further enabled through video telematics, where you have dash cams fitted within the driver cabin to continuously monitor the driver behavior and also to avoid all such mischiefs that we were mentioning about, right? So this is a visibility into the trip dashboard. Then a couple of other KPIs. We are again getting some insight onto vehicle health. There are a few parameters which are considered to categorize categorize the health of the vehicle as good, or say okay or bad or needs attention, something like this, right? So you have a health dashboard. Then we also get some interesting analytics here, right? So this analytics, it is just not metrics or a report structure that you are seeing. It is a graphical representation which could be typically used on a monthly basis to present to the management or present to the fleet head or something, right? So you get the vehicle statuses, total number of alerts, utilization, distance, cumulative, which is nothing but your cumulative odometer reading, time spent in halt, utilization, which we mentioned about, and also some costs if you have costs associated for all the expenses accounted during a trip. So those total costs also can be represented here, right? So these are the kind of KPIs which are driven for a logistics use case. Right. So this for this session, this is all we wanted to talk about. So again, summarizing what all we spoke about. One, of course, we started with the Solution Accelerator Program, which is again powered by Condense, and how this multiple solutions for multiple business types using the same backend platform could be enabled. So the main thing here, or the main takeaway here, would be using Condense as your base platform, utilizing the Solution Accelerator Program as a building block, which translates to enhance your GTM, and building those business KPIs using the expertise and the experience that Zeliot has built in the last 7+ years. So that is all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this session. See you on the other side. Thank you, guys.